Hi, I'm Marie.
And I'm Vicky Marie, and you're watching The Perspective. Today, I would like to talk about some things that may have stemmed from when we were younger and may have came up into our adulthood that we may have carried and did not know of. So, today, we were talking, and as we, again, this is an open discussion, so we try to keep it on the floor and easygoing and at a rate of understanding for everybody. And so, as we were talking about some of the things that cause us to act certain ways as it relates to men and relationships. And I can be honest and say that growing up, I saw diverse things that ultimately put me at a guarded position when I got older. And so one of those things was abuse. I was able at a young age, maybe between 6 and 7, to witness my mother be beaten, and watching her be physically assaulted and not being able to do anything. As I grew up, I built up this defense where I wish a nigga would trap me. That was me. And I just had to be, that was me at that time. I wish they would try to put their hands on me and things like that. And what happens is I built a place where I will always be on guard. And so even if I think you're going to do anything remotely close to trying to put your hands on me, curse at me, say anything out of order to me, then it was on and popping because I had the mouth, give the gab, and sometimes it can go bad. It was not always positive.
Okay.
And so another one of the things that I dealt with, and this is kind of a personal topic for me, was understanding why, other than the fact that I seen my mother be abused, why I was so guarded. And some of the areas that I am still guarded in came from being, unfortunately, being, underneath an environment where I was molested. Being touched by a man, a grown man, who knew very well my age, which I was around 6 years old or maybe 7. And I remember laying in my bed over the babysitter house, and the guy coming in, and he fondled me. And it's so crazy because normally we don't remember anything until we're like maybe 9 or 10, but I remember this so vividly. And I told my mom, and she ended up calling the police, and unfortunately she got the wrong person took to jail, and the person who ultimately, or who actually did it, has been free and things like that. And it scarred me. And so growing up, I had this discord with men, like all of them liars, manipulators. They were hurt women. And I didn't think that growing up that's something that major at the time, which was small to me because I didn't know what was going on, but I didn't think it would affect me as it did growing up. And so I've dated, I've been in a position where I kept boyfriends. If one broke up with me, I always had a backup. Or if I broke up with one, I always had a backup. Or if I didn't have the backup, I always had a friend that would ultimately be a fill-in until I got, sent off the rebound tip. And so I think a lot of those things came from me growing up under feeling some kind of way about men. And I even had the attitude, he hurt me, I hurt him.
Yeah.
Or if he did it, then he'll do it. And so growing up, I just really had this lack of trust for men, and it ultimately put me at a hard place. I treated my boyfriends and my ex-husband, I treated them very harshly, or I should say I was very cold. It was hard for me to love being in a relationship with a man, and love having him as my own, because of the fact that being tampered with at such a young age, or almost being raped and things like that at such young ages, and seeing my mom go through the certain things she went through as it relates to abuse, really messed with my mind. Really messed with my mind. And so as I got older, I'm 29 years old today, and it took me probably until this age to understand that all men aren't the same. And I went on a date, and one of my friends, he had mentioned to me that I was uptight. And I didn't see myself as being uptight. I saw myself as being, I don't play. I don't play about anything. I don't tolerate things. I have a zero tolerance for anything that is not pleasing to me. If I feel it's disrespectful, then I'm letting you know. That was just my attitude. And so I kind of had to had to reevaluate what he said after our conversation, because it is very, very true that we can be uptight as women, and our guarded disposition puts us in a place that we unknowingly are pushing our male friend away, or our future mate away. And so you want to be very careful that you don't carry those things into your future.
Absolutely. I can definitely relate to you when it comes to growing up and being in like dysfunction. Like I can remember growing up, but I seen a lot as a child. I seen people on drugs, people doing drugs, people being beat by men, and just a lot of dysfunction. And I will remember saying, and you know how you look up to your mom, and your mom is like, you're like, man, I want to be like my mom when I get older. And just seeing her go through things, and she didn't even really, my mom, I can't say that she really had a respect for me because of the things that she seen her mom go through. But at the same time, she ended up in the same situation as her mom, you know, still not having that love for men. So I can say I never respect men. Like I just looked at them all the same. Like she said, I feel like I'm going to get them before they get me. I'm not going to fall in love because I'm not going to give them a chance to hurt me. And in being in that situation, I feel like I got a good person and I mistreated him so bad because of what I seen, and thinking they all are the same, and not even knowing that he had my best interest at heart, you know. So I feel like sometimes we need to look back, because our past definitely affects our relationships that we have today, or you know, different things that people told us about us, or you know, things we believe when people tell us those things like that. And sometimes I feel like, I know I don't when you get in that relationship with God, He'll make you face that stuff, because sometimes I feel like you can't grow and be a better person until you face those things, because you'll never be good for anybody else if you're not even good for yourself. So I think that's definitely important, and definitely being afraid to love. Like I was so afraid to fall in love. I just felt like that was for weak people. Like why would you love them and let them do you like that? Like I would just look at people who would be just so in love with people, and I'd be like, well, if you love him, why would he hurt you? You know, so I would just look at their relationships and be like, I don't want no parts of that. Like, I'm cool just being with a guy. Like, I was kind of feel like I was kind of like a guy, because I feel like I was emotionalist. Like, I could sleep with somebody and not even think about him. I want to be honest, like, I won't even think about him the next day. Like, I was cold-hearted, and people be like, well, I'm not like you. How could you do that? I'm like, I don't know, but now I know how I could do that, because I just had no respect for them. And let alone not having respect for them, I guess I didn't even have respect for myself.
And that's crazy that you said you can sleep with them and not have no remorse or remember it or care about it the next day, because I, on the other hand, was very different, am very different at that, you know. You're married now and I'm still single, and I have this attitude about me that if I get in a relationship with anybody, or at one point if I ever had any type of intercourse with them, then I had to have some type of feeling for them, because I can't deal with you if I don't have no feeling. And so with that being a factor, with that being a major factor, a lot of my relationships kind of went, you know, in a different direction, because they tried to play on my intelligence and make it seem like, well, if I cared about them, that I would do what they wanted to. But that wasn't it. You know, it's just I hold myself at a higher level of respect. And so dealing with somebody who unwillingly or without permission, I should say, and without me saying go right ahead, touch me. I hold this position that nobody can touch me unless I say, you know, and that's how you women need to be, period. And you don't feel pressured to do anything. You don't put yourself in a position where you feel like you have to do it or they're going to leave you. I really did suffer with that too, that if I didn't give a man what he wanted, in most cases, which is sex, if I didn't give it to him, that he wouldn't want me no more. Well, if that's the case, then he's not the man for you.
Absolutely.
And so you know, now I have an attitude that, just like a man, only not on a sex level, if you're not willing to accept my standards, then you're not for me, and I won't remember you the next day.
Amen. Well, all right. But no, yeah, and like she said, to the ladies, I definitely think that we should look at things that way, especially when it comes to sex and things like that. Because I feel like now, like I'm not in the dating pool, but I feel like it's so hard for women that are dating now because I feel like I blame it on the women.
Because these thoughts making it easy.
Well, that what she said. But no, I think that we make it too easy. Like I remember guys chase. They like to chase. Like
Yeah.
I remember being in a situation where I would be like, I'm about to make him chase me. I'm not about to just give in. Because guys like that, but now I feel like they be like, girl, I'm not about to chase you. I'm going on over here to her because I can take her some weed and drink and it's going to be
on and
on.
popping. And that's so crazy because that's what I was thinking. Like, it's so easy nowadays. And it's because the reason why it has become easy because women have lost value. Mm-hmm. They have lost self-worth. And now there's no women out motivating these women.
Yes.
When we were coming up, there were women teaching you who were actually married.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't our parents, it was people that was married, mm-hmm. Showing us the way. And now women, I really tell you this. If sex is the only thing you have to offer him, then you have nothing to offer him. And a lot of men can attest to this because they're not necessarily looking for something easy either. It's easy access, so naturally they're going to get it. Yeah. But in the same token, they're not taking you to meet their mother. Mm-hmm. They're not going to think about marrying you in the future because there's nothing to look forward to. After sex, what do you have to offer?
Exactly.
That's a question you need to ask yourself. If I'm not giving my goodies to anybody, what else do I have to offer? Do I have education? Right. Am I intelligent? Can we have a conversation that is meaningful? And for the men, because women don't like talking to men that don't have anything to talk about.
Right.
Intelligence is everything. If the only thing you have to talk about is sex, then 9 times out of 10 you'll lose my attention.
Right. Just take sex off the table and see.
So if she doesn't have sex, what can she offer you? And for the most part, men, they value women of independence. They value women that can take care of themselves, but they also value women that has a 100% attitude that I'm down for you. Mm-hmm. I'm going to hold you up when you're down, and vice versa, ladies, for the men. And so it's important that you still maintain the attitude of being there for your spouse, your boyfriend, or anything, but you never give them a reason to leave, because a lot of times us women are forcing things upon our men and they're leaving, and so you want to focus on keeping that niche too, because our mouths can get us in a lot of trouble. Yes, and our pride our pride, because just like men have pride, so do we. And so to the woman, since we're talking to you, I would encourage you that when you go home at night and you do your prayers or you wake up every day, what's your motivation? Mm-hmm. Do you put on your clothes to look cute for a man, or do you put on your clothes to look beautiful for yourself? Mm-hmm. Is there any self-worth? Do you value yourself? Mm-hmm. Do you look in the mirror and say, I love me, not looking for nobody else to love you? Do you appreciate who you are? These are things that builds confidence in you, and it teaches you to understand that no matter who may leave and turn their back on you, you know who you are.
Absolutely. I definitely think that is important, and that definitely comes from learning to love yourself. Like being married, I still date myself sometimes. Like I still take myself out. I still take myself out. Like I'm not afraid to be by myself, and I feel like that's a lot of people are afraid to be by themselves. Because if you wait for a man sometimes, like, men just don't get it sometimes. And you be like, I'm lonely, he ain't giving me what I need, and this and that. Like, learn how to do that for yourself sometimes. Learn how to love yourself. Learn how to take time out for you. Get to know who you are. Take some time. Write down what makes you happy. Just find out what motivates you as a woman. And like she said, just getting back to that love thing, I feel like that the relationship is with God is the foundation of love.
Definitely. Because
that's what it is. That's what it was, what he died for us, because he loved us. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that foundation taught me how to love. Like I didn't know how to love before. I thought love was for weak people, So that going back to that, I feel like he'll show you how to love your sisters. He'll show you how to love your friends. He'll show you how to love your children. It's just so much that you can learn in that relationship with him. Um, and also just being open and having someone to talk to as well. I think that's important because a lot of us just put our focus on a man. Like that becomes our everything. And getting a husband and being in a relationship, I feel like it consumes us, and then that becomes your God. And I feel like it'll never work if that's the only thing that you're focused on. So having relationships out of that, women relationships with your girlfriends that you can call and say, girl, you know what, I'm going through this. I'm struggling with this. Can you pray for me, or can we pray together, or let's go out, girl, because I'm feeling like I need to call Pookie and get it on with him because I'm feeling lonely tonight. You know, so it's like just having that foundation that you know you can rely on other people if you need that strength to pull you back if you're in a low place.
And also dealing with yourself at home, like she was saying, spending your me time, because the question could be raised, what do you do when you're lonely? When loneliness hits you at nighttime and you're at home in your bed by yourself, what are some things that you can do to ultimately help you get through those nights? Number one is prayer. I have to go there because prayer builds you up. It strengthens you in areas that you never thought possible. And 9 times out of 10 it prevents you 10 times out of 10 it prevents you from doing things that you know you had no business. And I'm just talking to the single woman because I know what plays on our mind a lot is being lonely. Being in a position where we're so lonely that we're willing to settle for who's ever willing to be there, and that's not cool because everybody that comes your way isn't who God sends for you. So when you think about the times that you're lonely, just know God is building you. In that time, God is letting you be okay with you being by yourself, letting you be okay with you so you can be okay for somebody else. And so when that person do come along, you appreciate you enough not to settle for anything less. You know, if God has called a man of God to be in your life, you can't settle for no typical street nigga.
Right.
I'm just being real. You know, you can't settle for no typical person because that's not who God ordained. And naturally, if it's not who God called to be in your life, then it won't work. It's just a waste of time. So stop wasting your time.
Hey, stop wasting it.
Stop wasting your time. Stop worrying about who your husband is. Stop thinking everybody that comes your way is your husband.
Ooh.
Stop thinking that it got to be him because it wasn't him. You know, really take the time out to get to know somebody. Really be patient in the time that they have because, you know, when they're busy, and naturally you want somebody productive. You don't want anybody, if they can talk to you every day, all day, then that's probably somebody you don't want to talk to. But you want somebody that's consistent and doing something that's productive and building himself because he got to be okay in order to be all right for you.
And I'm going to talk to, since she went for the singles, I'm going to go for the married woman, being that I am married.
Pop.
Even when you're married, I feel like you can go through that lonely stage. It's not just when you're single. It can be when you're married, because sometimes you guys can be off balance. You could be on this page and he's still back on this page, or vice versa. So it's good to seek God, like she said, pray and ask God, you know, help me in this lonely place. He ain't giving me what I need, Lord. So how can I get through this place? Because, Lord, I don't want to cheat on my mate because I'm lonely, because I feel like that still plagues on you too. Adultery, it goes on in so many different marriages with us as women and men, just because of that lonely place and not having that relationship with God. So I think that that's definitely important. And I think because you have that foundation with God, I don't think you should allow people to treat you any kind of way. Like, I think you still deserve to be respected. I think that people should still come home every night. They shouldn't be out here doing you wrong, and plan on your relationship because you have that relationship with God. I also think that it's good for you guys to pray together, you know, so that you are asking God to keep us on the same level, keep us on the same page with each other. So I'm not going this way and he's not, because dysfunction and division is like the first things that he's stepping out on you, and then you think about stepping out on him. So I think it's just good that we keep that foundation with each other.
That's good, keeping prayer as a fundamental, you know, as relates to any relationship, friendship, relationship in your church, whatever the case is. And I really agree 100% about respect in a marriage and respect in general. But when it comes to your mate and you've been one under God, and you are married and you having difficulties, prayer together is what keeps you together. It's important that, and I know that now, because I learned it coming out of a divorce, and so now, when I do, take that launch into the deep and get married again, then I understand that everything is not meant to run away from.
Right.
But more so to come together as one and see if we can build a fence of protection over our marriage. And likewise the single woman, when you face things and complications when dating someone, it's important that even you guys pray together. Although it's just a friendship, or it is a friendship with potential, you want to pray that God keeps you guys secured. God keeps that God is the focal point, and that everything is basically protected, including your hearts.
Absolutely.
So that when there does come a time where you may fall prey to temptation, that you're able to be strong enough to either accept a scapegoat that God has provided and pray about it, or just walk away, with confidence and knowing that you made the right decision.
Absolutely. I think don't compromise who you are all the time for someone. Some people will change their whole personality, their whole dress, their hair, everything, because somebody they dating say, "Oh, I don't like that about you."
And check this out. That was me. I really, 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 really don't like church boys. I no offense, y'all. My brother. But I just never been into guys that was a part of the body as it relates to being on our auxiliaries, ministers, preachers, pastors, musicians, ushers, deacons, whatever the case is. I would rather have not necessarily a thug, because people think I like thugs, and it's not that. I like people that wear Levi's. No, but no, seriously. My typical guy was the person who actually just worked a lot, like myself, who worked. And when I come home from church, he's at home smoking his cigar, watching a football game, and drinking his beer, and and doing nothing out of the ordinary but getting up and going to work and going to church, and that was it. I mean, going to work. Had a relationship. Went to church on a Sunday, but back at the end of the day, he wasn't nobody's deacon. He wasn't no preacher. He was going home, and we had different stories at the end of the day. And so,
so kind of like the manly man.
Kind of like, understand it when I tell you manly man, because it's like. But I'm really just trying to. I really what I'm saying is, I had to even open up in that area. I have people, because I am a minister. I do walk. I am a leader, and I am been trained in areas that will qualify me. You know what I mean, to sit on somebody's pulpit, but. I didn't want anybody that did the same thing I did. I wanted somebody to bring balance. And I felt like if we had a relationship, and if he was in church and I was in church, the only thing we would have to talk about was church. I don't want that at home. And so balance was everything to me. And so I began to pray more, and unfortunately, not unfortunately, but fortunately for me, I have opened up to that, because what you do want is somebody God-fearing, somebody who understands your relationship with God, somebody who understands that going to church is important. Not going to church, but having a relationship with God is important. Loving God is important. Who can support my ministry and understand what I'm doing, and it not be an embarrassment to him, and things like that. So like she was saying, it's important. Don't hide who you are. I didn't hide it. I just didn't necessarily talk about it a lot. And so now, I'm to the point to where I'm bold enough to let everybody know that, I'm saved, I'm sanctified, and I love the Lord. And if you don't understand that, if you can't get with that, then we're not meant to be together. And I'll pray for you. We can be cool. But other than that, it's, I'm good.
Right. I think that is so important, because you see it a lot. You see people try to be things that they're not. And at the end of the day, you're not going to be happy, because that's not who you are anyway. And you're not going to be able to make anybody else happy, because that's not who you are. So I feel like that's definitely an important role. And then also, just like I said, the foundation of knowing who you are, having a great relationship, and also just seeking God and saying, Lord, make me into everything that you want me to be. So when that special person do come in my life, I'm ready and I'm prepared for that person. I'm not lacking anything. I'm not insecure in this area, so he ain't got to deal with all my issues and my baggage. When we come together, we're already going to have a couple of bumps in the road, and I don't want to add anything else to that. So, Lord, in this time that I'm alone, make me, mold me,
Yeah.
help me to be strong, help me to seek you, prepare me to be that wife, that we see in Proverbs 31. Even though I think she's like the amazing woman, I think we're just supposed to pull a few things from her, because she was like all the way up there. But yeah, and just being secure, loving yourself, knowing your worth,
Yes.
seeking God, prayer, all those things are very important, especially when it comes to relationship and us building each other up, loving each other as women, having that foundation with each other where you can call on your sister and she pray for you, you pray for her, or go out to dinner. Just being able to be open with someone else is very important without them feeling like, she gonna judge me or she ain't gonna like me. And when you get to know someone and they have flaws or insecurities and you see them, you don't play on them. Because a lot of us tend to do that as well. So, just know who you are and love who you are. Your flaws, all of it, love it. And ask God to help you be better at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We want to encourage all the ladies out there that are single or in a relationship and married, to love on yourself, understand who you are, continue to know your worth, and every day, encourage yourself. Every day, give yourself compliments. Every day, look in the mirror and say, I am beautiful, or I am all that God created me. And know that you are great, you are beautiful, because you are created in God's image. And so with that being the factor and knowing that, I believe that you can leave this segment knowing your worth. Know that you don't have to settle for less. You don't have to change who you are for anybody. And most importantly, you don't have to bring your past into who you are today.
Yes.
And so with that understanding, we thank you guys for watching the perspective. And we pray that we are of some benefit to you and a positive impact on your life in a positive way. So have a great day. Be blessed.
Thanks for watching The Perspective, guys.